He who chases loses power. He who waits makes the world kneel.
In the great game of power, most lose before they even begin. Not by weakness, but by eagerness. To chase is to expose desire, and desire is the scent of the desperate. In a world that runs on speed, silence is mistaken for passivity. But the true predator waits. To wait is to control tempo. To wait is to force reaction. To wait is to build a world where all roads lead back to you. Robert Greene. When you force the other person to act, you are the one in control. The wise ruler does not scream for attention. The dangerous seducer does not pursue. The master strategist does not rush to strike. They all lay bait and disappear. In power, the most frightening figure is not the one who shouts, but the one who watches. The architect of power is the one who designs the silence, and in that silence, kingdoms fall. Throughout history, the most devastating victories were not forged in blood, but in delay, in the long shadow of restraint, in the illusion of freedom, as the trap slowly closes. This is the paradox of true control. You only possess it when you seem to give it away. And now, let us pull back the veil and expose the structure of the law itself. Power is not seized, it is surrendered by others. The illusion of choice is more powerful than choice itself. When you chase someone, a lover, a client, a throne, you admit their dominance, but when you make others come to you, you become the destination. You control the terms, you control the time, you control the terrain. Greene. You gain power when you make others act. When you are the one reacting, you are at their mercy. This is not laziness, it is warfare in slow motion. To bait the world is to reframe desire. You wait, you withdraw, you build legend, then vanish. The absence begins to whisper. Bait is not always gold. It can be a withheld response, a delay, an unanswered message, a cryptic gesture, a myth. Mystery is the strongest bait. Greene. The more you chase, the more you reveal your need, and neediness is the ultimate weakness. You never fight on unfamiliar ground. You make others travel to your rules, your setting, your tempo. The terrain itself becomes power. The waiting room becomes a throne. Let them come. Let them bend. Let them believe they are the hunter, until they realize they're already inside the web. Now that the mechanics are understood, let us enter the shadows of those who mastered this law, and those who were devoured by it. Japan, late 1500s. The Sengoku Jidai, the age of warring states, blood flowed like water. Ambition devoured order. Warlords carved out territories, betrayed friends, assassinated rivals. It was a world built on speed, aggression, decisive action. And in the midst of that chaos, Tokugawa Ieyasu waited. He served Nobunaga loyally. He submitted to Hideyoshi's rule. To most, he seemed passive, a loyal underling, a man without hunger. But Ieyasu was watching, calculating, memorizing every weakness, planning not for the next battle, but for the final one. When Hideyoshi died, his young heir was surrounded by regents, a council of wolves. Everyone expected Ieyasu to make his move. Instead, he played the slow game. He let the others fight first. He allowed fear to spread. He allowed betrayal to rip through their alliances. At Sekigahara, it looked like a fair battle, but the terrain had been chosen by Ieyasu. His alliances were already secured. His enemies had already been divided from within. Even the betrayals on the battlefield timed perfectly were part of the script he had written. Victory was not taken. It was harvested. After his triumph, Ieyasu still waited. He didn't declare himself shogun for 2 more years. He allowed the court to come to him. He allowed the people to plead for his rule. When he accepted, it was not a coup. It was a coronation. Greene. Let others come to you. Let them wear the burden of desire. Let them write your legend. From the silent battlefields of Japan, we now cross seas to the thrones of Europe, where one queen ruled without chasing a single soul. When Elizabeth I took the throne in 1558, England was a fractured kingdom, teetering between religious wars, financial instability, and threats from powerful Catholic nations. She was young, female, unmarried. Many believed her reign would be short, perhaps even tragic. But what none understood was that Elizabeth wielded a weapon far more devastating than armies or marriage alliances. She wielded delay. She refused to act when others demanded it. She refused to speak when others pressed. She delayed every critical decision, and in that void she grew powerful. Her refusal to marry became a diplomatic enigma. Suitors, kings, dukes, ambassadors lined up, and she kept them all interested. To France, she hinted at affection. To Spain, she offered olive branches. To the Protestant factions, she stood as a symbol. But she committed to none. Each offer, each negotiation was dragged out for years. And every day she delayed, England gained time, gained leverage, and watched its enemies reveal themselves. Her legendary response to Parliament's demand she marry was not a defense, but a declaration of untouchability.
I have already joined myself in marriage to a husband, namely, the Kingdom of England.
She became myth, a monarch who belonged to no man and thus belonged to all of England. When Mary, Queen of Scots, plotted against her, Elizabeth again waited. She refused to execute Mary hastily. She let the tension rise, the betrayals deepen, the plot fully surface. By the time she signed Mary's death warrant, the act was not one of vengeance, but reluctant justice. Even the Spanish Armada, one of the most dramatic military threats in English history, was handled with psychological precision. Elizabeth let her people fear. She let her enemies underestimate. Then, when she gave her iconic Tilbury speech, she was no longer just a queen. She was a war goddess. Greene, the person who cannot delay cannot dominate. She ruled for 45 years, not by force, but by becoming the unmoving center of gravity. Everyone came to her, and none could leave unchanged. But power is not bound to royalty. Sometimes it rises from exile, shaped in silence, released like a storm. 1917, Russia, broken, hungry, furious. The Tsar had abdicated. The provisional government was weak. The people wanted change, but had no direction. And somewhere in Switzerland, Vladimir Lenin, an exiled revolutionary, waited. He was not in Petrograd when the first revolution hit. He had no army, no command, no visibility. But he had one advantage. He could afford to wait. He didn't scramble for power. He didn't beg to return. He observed the chaos and saw what no one else did. Germany, hoping to destabilize its enemy, offered Lenin a train to the heart of the storm. And Lenin took it. But he did not seize power with force. He seized momentum. He wrote the April Theses, a document not of conquest but of ideological bait, peace, land, bread. He did not fight for power. He lured the people into demanding it for him. As Kerensky's government faltered, Lenin grew louder, but never too loud. He let the Bolsheviks rise as a response, not an initiative. By October, he walked through the doors of a government already abandoned. The people had come to him, and once in power, he shut those doors behind him with ruthless finality. Greene, let your enemies build the ladder you climb. Let the people demand the crown you already forged. Lenin didn't chase power. He made power chase him. He made Russia wait. And in that waiting, he became inevitable. These were men and women who built thrones out of distance. But how does this law survive in our modern world of immediacy? In the modern world, movement is constant. We are addicted to activity, to post, to respond, to announce our every step. We equate visibility with relevance, availability with importance. But those who hold true power today, the truly magnetic, understand something ancient. Silence is scarcity, and scarcity is power. The luxury brand that never discounts. The CEO who doesn't respond to every crisis, the artist who rarely speaks, and when they do, changes culture. We chase what we can't have. We obsess over what we don't understand. And in a world of noise, the quiet become divine. Greene. Absence increases respect and honor. Too much circulation makes the price go down. In relationships, the one who constantly calls, texts, offers, reveals, loses mystery. But the one who withholds just enough, who lets the other reach, becomes unforgettable. In business, when you offer everything, you become ordinary. But when you limit access, when you say no more than you say yes, you become a gate others beg to pass. In politics, those who over-explain seem weak. But those who leave the room guessing, who delay, postpone, leave the speech half-spoken, bend the media to their rhythm. Debate is not manipulation. It's design. It's emotional architecture. You build a gap, and you let the world rush to fill it with longing. History echoes in today's silence. But the final note is yours to play. Robert Greene said, "To succeed in the game of power, you have to master the art of timing. Never be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control."
Let others rush. Let them burn their energy. Let them reveal themselves. You. Stay still. You. Become absence. You. Bait the silence. And when they come to you, and they will, let them believe it was their idea. Let them arrive on your terms, your tempo, your terrain. Then close the gates behind them. You never chased, you never begged, you became gravity. The spider does not chase the fly. It spins the web and waits. You are the storm they walk into, smiling. You are the silence they can't forget. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. If this spoke to you, like, comment, or share it with someone playing their own power game. Or don't. Everyone is the master of their own life.